So we decided to take a quick break from the studio and come down to the dock as we go into analyzing our next poem, ironically called
A Sunset of the City.
So, since we're down here, we thought we might just use the resources we have around us and become more fully embracive of the poem.
Okay, so when you first hear the sunset of the city, you think of like the glowing sun kind of like behind us and just like pretty colors and then a bustling city below. So at first you don't realize what the author really wants you to feel when reading this title, but after analyzing it, you have to think about how the sunset represents the day ending, and it's kind of like marking a transition into night. And by the end of the poem, you realize that this night that the author is feeling is actually death, and that is what makes the title really so significant and important with the meaning of the poem.
So I'm just gonna dive into some questions I have for you while we're down here. No pun intended. So, what do you think her overall purpose is? What's the message? Why did Gwendolyn Brooks write this poem?
Well, she right at the beginning of the poem, she really introduces what she wants to say. She says that she's no longer looked at with lechery or love by her sons and daughters. She creates an image of them putting her away on a shelf like they put their toys away. So it's showing the reader that she feels like she's being isolated from them and she doesn't feel like she has much importance anymore in her life. She even says her husband has done this too, and she seems like she's just an old dusty shelf. But the real key lines of the poem is her refrain, which is, "It is a real chill out." Now when you think of "it is a real chill out," normally a writer would say, "I'm really cold," or "it's chilly out," but it's important to note the syntax of this piece because it puts both a figurative and a literal meaning to the word chill. So not only is the weather cold because there's a transition from summer to winter, but also she's transitioning from the warmth of her heart from the relationships that she has with her family to a colder relationship where she doesn't feel much anymore and she feels like she's really isolated. So that's really important, and she ends up repeating that a couple of times throughout the poem. Yeah.
That's very insightful. You know, do you think this has any effect or impact on society as a whole? Do you think she was trying to reach a certain, group of people when writing this?
Yeah, she's definitely trying to target the group of people that don't really think that society knows what they're trying to express. Like, she doesn't feel like anyone can clearly understand her, and it's so unbearable that she writes the lines that she's to consult a dilemma whether to dry in humming paler or to leap and die. So this is like her contemplating suicide. She's saying that the pressures of society are so hard on her to change who she wants to be, and these pressures are coming from her own family, that she wants to kill herself. She's contemplating whether she wants to live in this pain or just die right now altogether. So she's definitely targeting the group of people that are feeling similar issues, and she's also could be targeting anyone in the general public that wants to reflect on the bad parts of society and make a change and know that it's okay to be yourself and not to put people down or isolate them for wanting to do that.
Right. Well, I know I'm interested, as well as I'm sure the readers and the audience here today is interested in just learning how Brooks manipulates diction to create this attitude that she has throughout the poem.
Yeah, her diction is really important. Like I said in that quote above where she says, "My daughters and sons have put me away with marbles and dolls." The words "put me away," that's what creates the image. She also says there is no warm house that is fitted with my need. Like I said, she feels cold. So she says her need, there's no warm house. So using the word cold, the diction is really important because it's showing that it's not just the weather, like the house is cold as well. It's not warm enough for her. She also creates a lot of personification, which is a really important literary device that she uses when she writes, whose washed echoes are tremulous down lost halls. I am a woman and dusty, standing among new affairs. And this really contributes to the theme of the poem. Basically, she feels like she's washed out. She's like the old, and society is the new, and she's surrounded by all of these new and constantly changing things around her, such as a city, like in the title, and she's the sunset. So I think that personification is also a really important literary device the author uses.
Right. Well, I don't know about you, Kira, but time really flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
And I'm having fun down here analyzing poems in
Yeah.
the sunset.
Me too. I mean, as you can see, the time's moving, the sun's going down. It's time to wrap it up.
So we'll catch you after this commercial break.